Books on the brain.
You gotta count us in.
Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Books on the Brain, a podcast of books and nonsense. I'm Danielle.
I'm Deirdre.
We're back.
We are back, baby.
We're alive.
We are alive, and we're in video.
You can see how pretty we are.
If you're watching YouTube.
We should be watching it. It's on YouTube. Should be watching it 2 times a week in both ways. Holy smokes. It's been a time. 2022 is come and gone.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Can I just say?
Retweet.
Sorry. I'm not going to touch my hair, I promise.
Okay. It's okay if you do. So this episode is tentatively titled, and here's what you missed on Book on the Brain, because I think it's a really funny title. Because welcome to season 3, season 2.
Season 3.
Who is she? No, season 2. Who is she? Season 3 is here.
Season 3 is here, and she's gonna thrive.
She is gonna thrive. We are energized. We are excited. We are ready for season 3.
Yes. So before we get into the book content, should we do a little here's what you missed in our lives?
Like a little, Glee, like dun, 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 dun.
Here's what you missed on Glee.
Glee, yeah. What have you been up to, Deirdre?
Well, I started working on Broadway.
She did.
Full time. Which is crazy. I actually can't remember what was happening with the last episode that went out, because so much happened at the beginning of the fall, and I started working full-time on Broadway, which is very, very exciting. There was also a lot going on in my personal life that made it very difficult for me to do anything besides my job, because I just needed to be fully distracted. I couldn't do anything else. And now we are in 2023. I am getting ready to finish my thesis and graduate from grad school. And there's a lot going on this year. It's the year of the weddings. I have 3 friends getting married.
Weddings.
Love is in the air.
Not for
me, but for my friends. And I'm very happy for them. It's the year of the wedding, and we'll see what comes down the pipeline.
Amazing.
Yeah. What about you?
Amazing. Yeah, 2022 was interesting. Alert. Yeah, I feel like both of our lives imploded at the same time for very different reasons. I started my education degree in September, so I did my professional semester 1, which means I did like 9 weeks of, don't quote me on that. I did some amount of weeks in the classroom, learning as a student, and then I went and did a professional practicum in a school in a grade 1 classroom. So I got very sick because kids sneeze and cough on you all the time.
Yeah.
Which was fine. I just hadn't been sick in like 3 years, and I was like, what's this like? Which was funny. I talk about, this is so strange. I talk about this quite openly on my other socials, but I haven't said anything on the podcast. But I did officially get a diagnosis for OCD and for PTSD, which has been so funny and funky, fresh, and cool for me. It's one of those things where I'm glad that I'm working towards stability, but boy oh boy, it's like someone's pointing out your faults all the time when you get a diagnosis. They're like, oh man, do you know this thing you do? It's because of this. And you're like, I just wish we could ignore it. but it's fine. It's good. It's good. Yeah. It's just been a weird, like, 6 months of, like, transition, grieving, busy, self figuring out, transformation, buzzwords.
Yeah.
But that's what it just was. We both had to hunker down and be like, how do we survive these 6 months?
Yeah. 4 months. It was 4 months.
Dude, I don't know. Feels like a lifetime. It literally feels like a
feels
lifetime.
like it was my whole life in 4 months.
It does.
And I would like to not relive it, which sounds so sad. Like, that was the one thing I was talking about with my therapist in the fall, was like, I have two huge life things happening at the same time. And one of them is so incredibly exciting. And I feel like I should be on top of the world, but it's so overshadowed by this awful, sad thing that everybody is going to go through at some point in their lives. And just like the two things colliding and trying to figure out, like, how do I see happiness and also feel my feelings?
Very much that. Yeah, but other than that, we've just been chilling. We've been talking.
Yeah.
We've been
being friends outside of being co-hosts. Nice. And it's been really nice.
We are friends.
We are.
We are friends.
Do people not think we're friends?
No, I'm starting rumors.
Oh, okay.
2023, the year of the rumor.
I see how it is.
It's not. I can't. I can't deal with it.
It can't be. It can't be.
But that was us. How have you listeners been at home? Reach out to us. We want to know. It's been a bit since we've chatted with you. Yeah, but we have an exciting plan moving forward. So we're excited to see what 2023 has in store for us.
Yeah.
23 is one of my lucky numbers.
Ah.
I was born on the 23rd of February, and also 23 is one of my OCD counting numbers. So it's gonna be a good year.
Okay.
Or it's gonna be a really bad year. One of the two. I'm taking it as a good year. Oh man. Okay, what's on the docket? What are we doing next?
So
let's see.
Keeping up with the here's what you missed, we're gonna give you sort of a rundown of things from 2022 in our bookish lives. So let's start off on the most positive note we can. Best books of 2022. I only wrote down 3. How many did you write down?
Well, 5.
Because I can list more. I had 15 5-star reads, and it was really hard choosing 3.
Oh, okay. I chose 5, and also mine are not all 5-star reads. They're just the books that I liked the most. I had other 5-star reads I didn't pick.
So I have a question then.
Yeah.
If it's a 5-star read, shouldn't it theoretically be the best?
No, because I think like my very holistic look at best reads is like the ones that I'm thinking about the longest. Like the ones that have stayed with me.
Okay.
Because there's like, here's the thing, there's books that I like that I'm like, they haven't stuck with me, but I like them in the moment. But then there's books that I'm like, they made me feel so many hard things that they are one of the best books I read, but I have issue with because they made me feel things I didn't want to feel.
That's fair.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
Okay, well, I'll add 2 because it was really hard narrowing it down to 3. Do you want to kick us off?
Yeah. Do you want to say hi quick? Come here then. Almond's saying hi. You guys all get to see my cats now.
I know.
Okay, my first best book of 2022 is actually one that is not 5 stars. It is Juniper and Thorn by Ava Reid. And if you know me, if you were at all following me on social media at any point over the summer when it took me a month to read this book, you know that I had a lot of feelings in this book. A lot of deep, profound feelings. but it stayed with me. Like, there's something about the book that is like a car wreck and you don't want to look away, or you don't want to look, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's one that I think takes a little bit to settle and sit with you, but I really enjoyed it. It's a Juniper Tree retelling. I know, Deirdre, you've also read it.
I did. I would say it's an honorable mention. I didn't add it to my list because it was on yours.
That's okay.
Yeah, for me, it was a very top read of the year.
And it's so interesting because it's actually on the shelf above me. It's a book that if it was done less good, I would really dislike because of the themes in it, but because it's done so well and the writing is so poetic and descriptive, it's like, you're just on a ride, man. You're just on a ride, and it's crazy. I really liked it. So that's my first one.
Are we going to jump back and forth?
Sure.
Okay, so my first one is All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir. It was one of the first 5-star reads of the year for me, and I didn't read it until it came out, which I think was like March time. And it was just so thought-provoking, and yes, I think that is the word to use when describing that book. Actually, I have nothing else to add. It was thought-provoking and made me feel a lot of things, and I still think about it. And
yeah. Exactly. Very much that. My next book is a middle grade book. I actually have it right here. It's called The Attack of the Black Rectangles by Amy Sreek King. And it's a book about censorship for middle grade students. So the main character in the book is starting, I think it's 6th or 7th or 8th grade, something like that. I can't remember. And he's in this classroom with this teacher who's like notoriously difficult. She's got a reputation. And he loves to read. And so the teacher breaks them off into reading groups and gives them like a book at their reading level. And his group gets a book on World War II, specifically on the Holocaust. And they start reading this book and notice that there's sections of it sharpied out. And they don't know what those sections are about. So then him and his friends go to the local bookstore to see what has been censored out of this book. And it's all like female anatomy that's been censored out. It's like women having a shower, and it describes her body, and that's been censored out by the teacher because the teacher feels like that's inappropriate. And then the student writes to the author and says, I want you to know that this is happening. I don't know what to do. And then it kind of goes from there. It's very interesting. It's very accessible. There's some really interesting representation in the book. His best friend has anxiety, like panic attacks, and it's very realistic. The father is, I believe he's schizophrenic. He comes to the house once a week to build a car that's going to be a rocket ship to space. So there's a lot of like complexities within this book that would be really juicy to read in a classroom. And I really enjoy middle grade books that tackle big topics like this because they're really great conversation starters. Right. So there's a whole backlog of this author, so I'm definitely going to go through and read more of them. But if you're looking for a little something, I recommend this bad boy.
I hadn't heard of that one. I don't know if I'll be able to read it until I finish the show I'm working on, because it's about the Holocaust.
Yeah, fair.
But that is, number one, really important right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next one is a graphic novel. Yes. It was the year of the graphic novel for me. And it is The Tea Dragon Society by Kay O'Neill. I would say like the whole series, but the first book really did so much for me. It's just this wonderful, cozy fantasy about people living in the mountains and community and taking care of these dragons that have been around for centuries, but like the majority of people don't know how to take care of them. It's really like a select group of people, and there's people in the town who are teaching the younger generation how to take care of them. And there's a lot of like bonding between a tea dragon and a human, and a lot of it is like waiting for that connection to happen so that they feel comfortable with you. But then she's also created like the lore of the tea dragons. So like at the back of the book, every single type of tea has a dragon. And it like talks about like what their characteristics are and things that they like, and it's just so wonderfully adorable. And also like a lot of, there's still like deeper themes in the book as well, which I really like. And it's just so beautiful to look at.
I was lucky enough to receive a copy of the Tea Dragon Society for Christmas from Deirdre, and it is, I can attest, it is beautiful. I haven't read it yet, but I like did a quick flip through it and was like, oh my gosh, this is really pretty.
Stunning.
I'm excited. Excited. Okay, here's the thing for my next one. 2022 was the year that I said, if I want to reread a book, I will. And every time I reread it, it is counting towards my reading goal. So I reread this book 7 times last year. And that book is Lola and the Millionaires, both parts, part 1 and 2. So it's like, I think together they're probably almost 1,000 pages. Like it's a long, little book, boy. There's something about it. I don't know what. It's so weird because there's some of it that I don't love, but there's something about it that is like, it's taken over The Host as my comfort read, which I feel like is gross. I haven't read The Host, I don't know, in like 2 years, which is crazy because you read it once a year, if not more. It's about Lola, who is a fashion design intern at like a Vogue-esque magazine. And she is a beta. It's an Omegaverse book. I don't want to talk about it. If you have a problem with it, go to Twitter. I don't care. Don't air out your dirty laundry. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the angry people who have feelings about Omegaverse. I'm not here to say all Omegaverse is good, because that's a lie. This is cozy. I don't know what it is about Catherine Moon's ability to write Omegaverse books that are very cozy. They are. But Lola's a beta. She has a very traumatic past with alphas, so she gets a little scared when she's around alphas. So she goes to the bar one night and she meets this other beta. It's a beta-only bar. No alphas or omegas allowed. She's dancing with this guy, and she's like, ooh, we're gonna get crazy in this bathroom. So she goes, and then she notices, oh my gosh, he's got a bomb mark on his neck, and she loses her mind. She storms out. She's like, gah. And then she starts working at this magazine. And then she gets trapped in an elevator with this mystery beta that she met at the club and all of his alphas. And she's like, passes out, head hits the floor, out. And then it's a story about how there's this guy from her past that's really, we don't love him. He's bad news.
Okay.
And he starts like leaving her phone messages. And here's the thing, it's the Barry Manilow song, which is so, do you know her name was Lola? She was a showgirl. So he leaves her cryptic messages.
That makes me want to read it more now.
It's really funny. It's like pure. It feels so episodic in the way that like, and this is the nicest way that I can say it, like a Wattpad, like every day is a different chapter. Like it's very episodic, right. But I think it's so good. But there's so much like sexual assault in those books, so just enter carefully. You don't see, it's not all on page, but it's definitely hinted at, or you see fragments of it. But it's on Kindle Unlimited. Catherine Moon, and she has because her and her friend Lola that her name? I have it somewhere. They have this universe that they write all of these Omegaverse stories within. So Lola and the Millionaires is part of it, and then her most recent book, Faith in the Dead End something gang pack, I don't know, came out. Who knows? Not me. I read it in a day, so I don't really remember much about it. But if you're looking for like a long series that is all like hurt comfort, I cannot recommend the Sweet Omegaverse universe more.
Okay.
Barry Manilow.
Guess
Barry
who
Manilow
was
fan.
lucky enough to receive a copy of Lola and the Millionaires for Christmas?
I think you're gonna like it. And I think if you don't like it, don't tell me.
Okay. Deal.
I just never hear from you again. You're like, sorry.
So sorry. No, I'm sure I'll enjoy it. Okay, my next book is, shocker, the rest of the books are fantasy books. It's The Bone Shard Daughter by Andrea Stewart, which has one of the most imaginative magic systems I have ever read about. I found it so compelling to read because every single character we get a POV from is in the dark about so much happening in the world around them, but they are so focused on their own personal missions that once we start to like put pieces together, it's like it's mind-blowing.
Fun. That's definitely on my list.
It's so good. The third book comes out this year, so I'm gonna try and get that second book read.
I didn't even know there was a second book. Dang. Okay.
Yeah.
Instant panic. I'm like, oh god, there's more than one. My fourth pick is a picture book. She's an educator now, so now she's being opened up to many more different kinds of books. This picture book is called Endlessly Ever After by Laurel Snyder and Dan Santat. And you're thinking to yourself, what could this book possibly be about? And let me tell you, it's a choose your own adventure like fairy tale storybook that has a whole bunch of different fairy tales weaved in. So at the end of every page, it's like you get a choice. So it's like, if you want to go here, go to this page. If you want to go here, go to this page. And it's like this huge storybook, and the images are so pretty. Like there's Jack and the Beanstalk, there's Little Red Riding Hood, there's Three Little Pigs, there's Sleeping Beauty. Like there's all these different stories that kind of meet and meld together, and you can die in this book, which so I was in my grade 1 classroom and reading this book.
I need to read it right now.
It's beautiful. And so I had popsicle sticks for the kids' names so that I would pick a popsicle stick and then the kid could choose what we would do in the book. As fair. Pick a popsicle stick. This kid goes, okay, we're doing this. We die. We die in the book. And I did not realize there were endings where you go walk into the light, and I was like reading it as I was like processing. And then I was like, let's do one more time. We go to the front of the book and try again. So warning, it's not graphic death, but you do walk into the light at some point if you don't choose certain ways. So be ready to have that conversation with your young children.
That's fascinating. I actually kind of love that.
It's really pretty. Like I got it from the library at my university. I want a copy for myself. It's so cool.
Yeah. The next book for me is the book that made me realize that I am officially in my dragon era, and I am embracing it, and it is Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. I mean, two of these books are about dragons. So if that says anything.
And now you can all see behind Deirdre is a dragon.
Hello, plushie.
Dragon era.
So the dragon plays a part way later in the first book in this series. And I heard whisperings online that people were worried that the third book isn't going to get published, and I might lose my mind if it doesn't. But also the second book only just came out last year, so I'm like, okay, it's fine.
Give them some time.
Yeah. So this book, you guys, it is Vikings. It is fantasy.
Ooh.
It is multiple POVs.
Ooh.
There is Okay, I will say content warnings for child snatching. Child snatching. Murder, obviously.
Murder.
And there's, I think what was fascinating to me was it wasn't just like a woman on a quest or like a couple different people on their own quests and they're all kind of interconnected. There was also this like political intrigue element to it. And y'all know I love a good political intrigue. So it was like all of the things that make my brain go woohoo. Also like murderous mommies and women with swords. What's not to love?
Murderous mummies.
Murderous mommies. So it's fabulous and I'm obsessed.
Amazing. Okay, confession time. This last book that's my best reads, I've not actually finished because I literally cannot finish it because it makes me feel so many deep feelings, but it is quite literally one of the best books I've ever read. And I'm taking my time with it because you can't rush perfection. And also reading dense and heavy academic books while you're in school is sometimes difficult.
Correct.
But it's Babel by R.F. Kuang. It is so good. It is like take your breath away, profound, terrifying, infuriating. All it just makes you like want to riot. It's like I think it's the perfect book for disruptors. And if you're a disruptor, you know that it's just like I see systems of oppression and I see institutionalized power structures and I just want to that's what it's like. It's about a young boy named Robin. It's not his actual name, it's the name that he's given when he's taken to London, England. I don't know where they actually go before they go to Oxford, but he has been raised with this nanny who is teaching him English so that he can become a translator. So he speaks Cantonese and English, so he can be a translator. And basically, there's this whole system where like affluent white men will adopt, foster, sponsor different children from different places around the world to be translators at Oxford. But there's also magic in the book, which is cool. It's like magic, but also like the problem with academia. And then the whole title of the book, I always forget what it is. So it's called Babel or Babel, or The Necessity of Violence, an Arcane History of the Oxford Translator Revolution. And basically the thesis of this book is like, can revolution happen without violence? Can change happen without violence? I'll let you ponder the answer.
That's a good question.
It's very interesting. There's a lot of racism in this book, which I feel like you should expect heading into this book. I don't think that should be surprising. But one of the features I really love about Babel is that there's footnotes within the text. So the character will like make notes of things as he's writing that he wants the audience to know, but it's done in character. So it's very interesting. It is just very it's a book that A, makes you feel smart when you read it. B, makes you think. I feel like I read a lot of books last year that made me think, which is good.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's important.
It is important to think some of the time.
Yeah, like 50%.
Yeah.
At least.
Sure.
My last one is The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden, which I adored. And this book's like steeped me deep into my dark fantasy moment. Like Shadow of the Gods took me there because Shadow of the Gods is dark. But The Bear and the Nightingale does not shy away from being like a twisty fairy tale. And it is like wonderfully cozy in my favorite way, where it's like it's never going to be on anybody's cozy fantasy list except for me, because I love books that just make me want to curl up with them, and that's what this book did.
Ooh.
Like for me, that's my definition of cozy, not necessarily the content of the book.
Sure. Yeah, just like Lola and the Millionaires is cozy, but it's about some really awful things.
Exactly. Exactly. It's a trilogy. It's part of the Winter Night trilogy, so I will be continuing it this year and hopefully finishing it before the winter is done. But yeah, it was wonderful.
I got it for Christmas from my friend Alex.
I'm very excited.
So it's on my list. It's on the list.
On the list.
Okay, so now that we've complimented, we've congratulated, we've really uplifted the best books of 2022. Yep. What were the worst books you read in 2022? I have 4.
I have 3. And I'm fine with just doing 3. So do you want me to start?
Do you want me to start?
I can start.
Okay, great. I want you to start.
I'm happy to dig in. So the first one is Shady Hollow by Juno Black. This book made me angry. I don't hate read often to the end, but I was like, I need to see what is actually happening here. And on its surface, it seems like it's going to be a really cute, cozy fantasy murder mystery.
Yeah.
Because it's all about woodland creatures that live together. And one of the creatures has died at the beginning of the book. And it's a mystery. Like, nobody knows how he was murdered, anything like that. And so this reporter takes on the responsibility of investigating the murder because her boss needs her to do that for the story. And
where's the police?
Number 1, what?
Where are the police?
There's 1 police officer. Maybe there's 2. There might actually be 2. But they're like kind of half investigating. And yeah. And so
defund the police.
Already, sure. But should we be investigating a murder to then write a story about it?
No, there's some
like that's the motivation for it. Not we need justice because there's a murderer living among us.
It's I want to check.
And then as they go in, there was a little bit of xenophobia thrown in at one point, and just even the way it all shook out, I was like, this is not satisfying. And so there were a lot of things that made me mad. And I talked about it very openly on the internet.
I remember. I forgot you had read it, but when you started describing it, I was like, yes, this one, the panda bear one.
It made me mad. Yeah, freaking panda bear. It made me mad because the cover is so cute and it seems like it really could be a good book, and then you just got into it and it disintegrated.
That sucks. I'm sorry, dude.
Womp womp.
Womp womp. My first worst book of 2022 should come as no surprise to anybody. It's An Honest Lie by Taryn Fisher. Mostly on principle, because I thought the book was okay. I just have a brand tab.
I know you and Taryn Fisher do not get along, and yet you keep reading her books.
In my defense, this was sent to me. She says, like, she didn't request it. In my defense, I got sent it. I did request this book because I wanted to read it. I wanted to give her a chance.
Yeah.
2022 was the year of second chances, and Taryn Fisher shoved my face into a toilet and said no. That's what she did. And I didn't realize until this moment that it's blurbed or it's whatever by Colleen Hoover. So yoinks. It's fine. If you want a cult book, I think there's better books out there. I think just Taryn Fisher writes women really weird for being a woman author. I don't know. And she's coming out with a I can't even talk about it. She's coming out with a book co-written with Coho.
Yeah. No, thank you. I will be staying far, far, far away from that.
I don't know what we did to deserve this.
Nothing.
We need to repent. I don't know. We need to
Repent.
we need to do something. We need to do something. It's fine. It's a fine book. I just don't. I think that was my last straw with Taryn Fisher.
I hope so. For your sake, I hope so.
But I'm a hater to the core, so who knows? We'll see. We'll see what 2023 holds.
My next one is called Magic Lies and Deadly Pies by Misha Pop.
Oh yeah, your book club book.
My book club book. I decided over the summer that I was going to do an in-person book club with some of my classmates, and we all voted on this one because it had a little bit of bisexual representation in it. It was like magical realism-ish, low fantasy, like ooh, kind of witchy, woohoo. It was so bad.
Boo.
There was nothing redeeming about it. Like the number one, the audiobook narrator, I could not stand. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to that person. Don't even remember their name.
They're listening to the podcast right now and they're so offended.
It was not for me. And that's how I was reading the book, was the audiobook, because if I want to read a book quickly, I listen to the audiobook. And everything about it, because the whole concept is that this girl bakes pies for women who are trying to escape relationships with men. And so there's sort of this implication that maybe she's killing them. And like what they're doing is bad. Like the first person we meet that she is serving a pie to was charged with SA allegations against this girl. And so the girl then went to the pie lady because she like doesn't actually put her face to the brand. But then as you sort of start to shake out her magic, it like doesn't really make sense. And the magic manifested slightly differently in her mother and her grandmother. So it's like for her grandmother, it was into things she sewed, but for her, it's like things that she bakes. And so, but not everything she does, it like has to do with death. Like she also goes to like a college campus and has pies that like help with focus and creativity and like all of that kind of stuff, but like it's really never described how that works. On top of the bisexual representation really was wishy-washy for me. Like I know I am not the be all end all of putting a stamp of approval on representation, but I was like, there's like a red flag waving.
You know it's icky.
And I was like, this is not for me. And then we had a great time ripping it apart at book club because nobody liked it.
Kind of nice though. It's nice to collectively rip something.
I felt so bad because nobody liked it. I was like, oh no. But we all voted on it. So
the haters book club, where we just read books we don't like. Honestly, kind of a good idea for a book club. Okay, here's the thing. My next one should come as no surprise. It's No Exit by Taylor Adams. It is that thriller book I read.
I remember.
The thriller book I read in 2022. It just is. Deirdre said that Shady Hollow makes her mad. No Exit makes me mad. It makes me mad. I don't even know when this book was published, but like the fact that there were still slurs in it, I'm like, why slurs? The fact that like there was so much violence against women in this book and children for the sake, like, and just the fact that it was targeted specifically towards that demographic because that's all they could say, talk about, like you're so weak, you're a woman, how are you gonna get away? And people are like, what happens in real life? I'm like, yeah, but like imagine if you could write about something that doesn't, like, you have the choice to like not perpetuate harmful things in your books. It's also Taylor Adams, I thought was a woman, no white man, so you know, it do be like that sometimes.
You hate to see it.
we do. We cannot support.
Yeah.
Don't read it. Don't watch that Hulu whatever was made. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Okay, my last one is a romance novel. And I know a lot of people liked this book, and I did not. And it is The Roughest Draft by Emily Wiverley and Austin Sigmund Baraka.
Oh.
The reason it's on this list is because I could not tell you a single thing that happened in that book. I know there were 2 characters. I know there was a house involved.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they were co-writing a book.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
And I actually am not quite sure if it was a romance or if it was just general fiction. Like, I'm pretty sure it was a romance because most of the people I saw talking about it are romance readers.
Because there's a cartoon cover.
Because there's a cartoon cover. I think it's partially romance, but it did absolutely nothing for me.
Dang.
Not one thing. And I usually eat up cartoon cover books.
Yeah.
Not this one.
I remember you reading it and I was like, oh, should I read it? And then I was like, no, I'm not going to.
Don't do it.
I won't do it. Okay, I have technically 3 more books. 2 of them are part of a series. I'm gonna go fast. The Haunting Adeline and Hunting Adeline books by H.D. Carlton suck. They are they're stalker romance books. And I fell into the trap of people talking about it on TikTok and me just being like, okay, I'll read it.
Right.
These books suck. They are not good. There's another one that's like a prequel, which it's stalking something. It is so grotesque, and like the plot twist at the end of the book, and I'm going to spoil it, of this prequel book. It's about this like young girl who lives in a traveling haunted house, and she's got all these like henchmen that are spooky men, but also she's in love with and has relationships with, which is fine, you know. Yeah. It's a free country, do what you want.
It's true.
But every time the haunted house stops somewhere, she chooses someone to murder who gives her bad vibes, which I was like, okay, fine. Whatever. And so we find out literally in the last like 5 pages of the book that all her henchmen are just mannequins, and she has imagined all of them. And she's like, there is like descriptive, explicit content in that book that then you find out is just mannequins, which is a whole other can of worms. And then she gets put in a psychiatric hospital in the last chapter, and her henchmen show up again. So it's like, and then she shows up in the other series, and I was like, and here's the thing, I read all of those books. I did it to myself. I could have stopped. I don't know why I did it, but they suck. Don't read them. Don't let TikTok.
That's another one. I know people who really like that series.
DM me if you want to know the gross thing that happens in them. I won't say it on this, but DM me and I'll tell you one gross thing that'll make you not want to read this book. Because I remember telling you and you were grossed out by it.
Yeah, now I don't remember, so we're gonna have to talk after.
I will tell you after. And the last one, surprisingly or not, is Book of Night by Hollywood. Book of Night's. Here's the thing. It was hyped up too much. Have you read it yet? You never read it.
And I'm not going to.
It just had so much potential. Like, it was this collision of like incredibly high expectations.
Right.
And really interesting magic system.
Sure.
But it just was so mid. It was so mid that it was painful. And I'm not a Holly Black stan. I've read the Cruel Prince series, all of the 4 books.
Right.
I recently bought the 5th one, The Stolen Heir.
Mm-hmm.
So I do enjoy her writing to some aspect. And I was really excited because she really is like a dark author. She brings a lot of darkness to the YA space. So I was excited for an adult book, but it just sucked. It was the slowest paced shortest book I read all year. It's 300 pages and it was painful to get through. I don't know a single person who liked it.
I know a lot of people that didn't even finish it.
Dang. Not surprised.
Which is why I'm not starting it, to be honest.
I think it would be a really cool TV show. Like, I think a screenplay would be a really cool screenplay. It's just, as a novel, we needed more. We needed more. Yeah, but those were the worst books we read in 2022. What a time.
What a time. What a time.
So now we have to look ourselves in the mirror and ask ourselves, did we do the things we wanted to do last year?
The answer is no.
Okay.
For me, none of them.
Okay. That's okay.
I'll be honest. So I had 3 goals.
Okay.
For myself. One of them was to continue reading at least one book by one author from a different country in the world. And I picked any country in South America.
Yep.
Any one of them. I didn't.
That's okay.
I didn't. And I feel pretty bad about it.
Don't feel bad.
Because I found it very, very difficult to motivate myself to read from a TBR, which then goes into my next goal, which was that I was going to give myself monthly TBRs, which I did not do. I even had that Instagram 12-month challenge.
Don't.
I think I read 4 books.
Do you know how many I read? 0.
Because I got to like October and I was like, oh my God, I actually really want to read some of these. And then that became my TBR, was looking at that thing and being like, oh, I'm going to read The Bear and the Nightingale, which turned out to be one of my favorite freaking books of the year. Like, hello? But it took me 12 months to read it.
That's okay.
And yeah, so the TBRs did not work out last year. However, I did set myself a TBR for this month because I've been in a physical book mood. So I was like, do it. Make a stack, make a TikTok. And I'm really close to finishing it. I have these 4 left. I have 5, but one of them is a short story. So I'm going to finish it. I'm going to read it this weekend, I think. And I might pause on the Poppy War because it is a HarperCollins book. So we might pause, which is fine for me. But I'm feeling pretty good about that. And then my last, anyway, that's this year. My last one is that I wanted to publish my reviews, which I did not. I don't know how many reviews I actually like typed out. I know I fairly consistently made video reviews on TikTok, which is good. Because shockingly, those actually sometimes do well for me, at least. And people really like them. So I tried to be consistent with that. But I think I actually wrote less reviews in 2022 than I did in 2021.
It do be what it is.
I don't know how people do it. Like, there was nothing motivating me to sit down and type out my thoughts.
I will die on this molehill of I will write reviews when I am obligated to, or when it really makes me angry. The book's good, it's just getting a silent 5 stars.
Yeah.
Book's good, it's getting a silent 5 star. My 2022 goals, I kind of did. I did some of them. I had a like book goal that I wanted to do that I find is helpful for me to motivate me to not sink into reading slumps if I have something to work towards. So my goal was 150 books, and I ended up the year at about 206, which was pretty good. And I did count the picture books that I read in my elementary classroom, so everybody get on that train.
As you should.
Reading is reading.
Reading is reading.
If you read Chrysanthemum 6 times, you read Chrysanthemum 6 times. Say that you wrote. I did not set a single TBR last year. I did this hilarious thing where I would read something on Kindle and then see what was recommended and just read that. Like, I literally
Nice.
Barely got recommendations last year. I just was like a wormhole.
Yeah.
Of like,
through
the
Kindle.
next thing, the next thing, the next thing. That being said, I can literally count on one hand the amount of physical books I've read last year. I think I maybe read 3 physical books. IDK. I can also count on one hand the amount of books that I bought last year, which is pretty good. It was pretty good. I made use of my monthly subscription on Kindle Unlimited and didn't buy physical books. And also, this is a mentality that I started last year that I am taking into 2023 with me. If I make it more than 50% of the way through a book and then DNF it, I am counting it as read.
You should.
Because I did not go through all that effort.
Yeah.
For it not to be read.
Also,
make it 50.
At 50%, if you don't like comprehend most of it, then you were skimming.
Maybe. Who's to say?
I just feel like if you made it to 50%, you comprehended enough to be like, I can't.
And you know what?
Maybe that's what I'm trying to
say. Get me down. I'm not letting the haters get me down.
I hope you don't think I'm a hater.
No, it's authors that write books I don't like. I'm not letting the haters get me down.
I understand.
Absolutely not. I also, one of my goals was to read more indie authors, and I did do that through my Kindle Unlimited rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And here's some that I recommend. Odette Stone. She writes books all set in Vancouver. All my Canadians out there. So she writes a Russian mafia series set in Vancouver. Honestly, really good. And then she writes a hockey series that's set in Vancouver. Both, honestly, some of the most incredible books I've read. She's amazing. She's on Kindle Unlimited. Cannot recommend. Lola Rock. She's great. Lee Savano and Tabitha Black, they write like an alien series that I like quite a bit, alien romance. Lana Cole, Catherine Moon, they're the Sweet Omegaverse people. Becca Mack, she has 2 books on Kindle Unlimited. They're hockey romances, and they're both very good.
You were big into the hockey last year.
I don't want to talk about it. No, I do want to talk about it. I want to do nothing but talk about it. I hate hockey more than anything, but there is something uniquely patriotic for me as a Canadian in hockey romances. And here's the thing. I read The Wall of Winnipeg in me. I've done the football romance. There's something about hockey. It's just a little different. And maybe it's because I was a figure skater growing up that I'm like, tension. There's some good hockey romances on Kindle Unlimited. I really enjoy them. And then my last goal was like balancing reading for pleasure and reading for obligation. And honestly, didn't do a really good job of that. But in the other direction, I had a hard time reviewing books that were sent to me last year.
Me too.
Mostly because they got sent to me in scary packages, and then I had to keep them in my closet for a month before I opened them, and then I forgot I had them.
Yes.
Which is an actual thing that happened. But
I remember.
It's scary. It's literally sitting beside me on the floor. Still haven't opened it.
That's funny.
It's not.
Even though you know what it is.
I know what it is. I know what the box is. I can see the physical box. I just can't open it. I'm gonna have to bring it to someone else to open for me.
Yeah.
Do you have any goals for 2023?
For 2023, I would like to keep up my monthly TBRs. I'm really keeping it chill this year. I think I would also really like to focus on fantasy. Because when I did my breakdowns last year, obviously the majority of what I read was romance, because your girl can get through a romance book in a minute.
She can.
But I find that I am at my happiest when I'm consuming majority fantasy, which was the end of last year. So I'm really going to try and lean into the things that I'm enjoying. Like, I know I'm not in the mood for contemporary romance right now, so I'm not going to pick it up unless it's like a 100-page novella, because that I can whip right through. It'll give me a little bit of a serotonin boost, especially if it's written well. But I won't feel like I have to really like get to know these characters and learn the world they're trying to set out for us. That's as far as like reading. Those are my 2022 goals.
I have 2 goals for 2023.
2023. Oh my god.
What did you say?
2022.
Oh, I thought you said 2012. And I was like, yeah, sure. Dude, I'm tired.
It's the end of the day.
My 2 goals are take 2. My first goal is I would like to read 200 books this year.
Okay.
Every year I bump up 50 books until I can't. And then I'll give up reading. Don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I also know that I have 2 practicums this year, so I'm going to be reading a lot of picture books. So it just feels conducive to what I'm doing. And my second goal is reading no Colleen Hoover books this year. And I have this really fun idea planned for my TikTok where every month I'm going to say, oh, I made it. I made it. And it's going to be funny.
It is going to be funny.
Even if it's not funny, I'm going to be happy. So that's
I'll laugh,
all I care about.
So.
And it's a big like concession for me because there's that Taryn Fisher book like Colleen Hoover and I'm not going to read it.
Yeah.
Or if I read it, no, I'm not going to read it. I couldn't lie to you guys. I couldn't lie to you. Couldn't lie.
That's funny. I forgot. I did set another goal for myself.
Oh,
and it's
what
that
is it?
Sundays are my graphic novel / manga days because I want Sunday fun day because I want to consistently read graphic novels and manga, and I really want to get into manga this year. So I'm currently reading the Witch Hat Atelier series, and it's been great. Like, did the second volume get left on a big cliffhanger, and I was like, I can't read I could read the third volume if I wanted to, but I'm like, I'm gonna savor this, like really build up the tension for myself. And
it's like the CW upload where you have to wait a week to see what happens in Gossip Girl. How
exactly
fun.
And my sister's been reading them too, so we've been texting, and she was like, did you get to the second trial yet? And I was like, no, because I'm reading one a week. And she was like,
it's not Sunday.
How are you doing that? That's so. And I was like, I have to read a lot of books for a lot of different reasons, and
I have a job, man.
You are in high school.
I love that you're reading with your sis. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet alert. Holy moly. Okay. Next on the docket, anticipated reads for 2023.
I'm really excited for this
And
one.
I would like to just state for the record that when I went to go put my notes into our Google Doc, Deirdre had like a full essay. And I literally wrote, I don't think I'm excited for any book to come out. I had to Google because I've been in the Kindle Unlimited hole for too long. I'm like, oh, when's the next this book coming out?
I know. It did. I needed to get my act together and start seeing what was coming out this year. So this did sort of preempt me. But there were some books in the back of my mind that I was like, oh yeah, that's coming out this year. Yeah. Like my first pick, which is the first book in Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab, which is the spin-off series of Shades of Magic, which if you know me, you know it's my favorite series, and
she hates it. She's
it's read it. The worst. I literally cannot wait for this series to come out. I guess what I saw online was that the book is releasing in October of this year. We still don't have a title as far as I know. But I really hope that that's true. I think it is. I'm pretty sure Victoria keeps posting that they have a book coming out this year, which would be from the series. And I'm just really excited.
Exciting.
Do you want me to just run through all of mine and then you can run through all of yours?
Sure.
So then the next one is releasing next month in February. And it is by the same author as the Daevabad trilogy, S.A. Chakraborty. And it is The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi. And it takes place in the world of the David Bond trilogy, which I'm super excited about, but it's 600 years earlier.
Ooh.
And it says it's about a retired pirate, ship's captain, mother, and our new favorite protagonist. When Amina chooses to leave her home and return to a life at sea for one last adventure, she becomes more than all those things. She becomes a legend. Magic and mayhem swirl in this epic tale of pirates, sorcerers, and the price of glory. It's going to be a trilogy about magic and mayhem on the high seas in a tale of pirates and sorcerers. I'm pretty sure I said that already. Forbidden artifacts and ancient mysteries in one woman's determined quest to seize a final chance at glory and write her own legend.
Ooh.
So I'm very excited about that. I have a sneaking suspicion that 2023, while I'm continuing my dragon era, that's not ending, I'm also entering my pirate era.
Nisha's book.
This book, there's another book on my list that's about pirates. The second book in the oh my god, what's it called? Can't Spell Treason Without Tea series is about pirates. So there's just a lot of pirating on the high seas, kind of pirating on the horizon for me this year. So that's the second one. Then we've got Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert, which came out this month. It is her YA book. And it says, what happens when two ex-best friends sign up for the same outdoor survival course? It's a laugh-out-loud story about a quirky content creator and a clean-cut athlete testing their abilities to survive the great outdoors and each other. Yeah, and that's that. Y'all know I love Talia Hibbert, and the only reason I haven't read it is because I know I'm not in a contemporary romance mood right now, and I do not want to not be in the right headspace to read that book. Then we've got another romance, which I found on my little Google search of books that were coming out this year. It's called Sorry Bro by Talene Vascuni, and it will be out when this episode comes out because it comes out on January 31st. And it's about an Armenian American woman who rediscovers her roots and embraces who she really is in a vibrant and heartfelt queer rom-com. And it's her debut, which is exciting.
Cool.
And then the last one is Darkwater Daughter by H.M. Long, which comes out in July. And it's a storm singer and a pirate hunter join forces against a deathless pirate lord in a swashbuckling Jacobean adventure on the high seas. And it's going to be the Winter Sea series, full of magic, betrayal, redemption, and fearsome women, which I am excited about.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
I know. And Hannah keeps posting like aesthetic videos and like promo videos for it, and everything about it is like speaking to my soul. I'm like, please, I need it today.
Give me. Okay, I've got a couple. I'm gonna go through these relatively fast. So the first one is Arf Kuang's new book called Yellowface. It comes out in May. And this is a little blurb. It says, authors June Hayward and Athena Liu were supposed to be twin rising stars. Same year at Yale, same debut year in publishing, but Athena's cross-genre literary Athena's a cross-genre literary darling, and June didn't even get a paperback release. Nobody wants stories about basic white girls. June witnesses Athena's death, and she acts on impulse. She steals Athena's just finished masterpiece, an experimental novel about the unsung contributions of Chinese laborers to the British and French war efforts during World War I. So what if June edits Athena's novel and sends it to her agent as her own work? So what if she lets her new publisher brand her as Juniper Song, complete with an ambiguously ethnic author photo? Doesn't this piece of history deserve to be told? Whoever the teller. That's what June claims. And so it's in first person perspective from this white author who sees her Asian American friend pass away and then takes her work.
Wow.
And it comes down to Yellowface takes on the questions of diversity, racism, and cultural appropriation, not only in the publishing industry, but the persistent erasure of Asian American voices in the history of Western white society. I just was like, this book is going to cause hopefully so many amazing conversations, but I think it really is like pointing out something that we've been having conversations with online for a really long time, like who should be writing what kind of stories.
Right.
I'm very excited for this book. I'm very excited. I think
Yeah, I'm intrigued because there's already a lot of buzz around it.
Yeah.
So I'm very intrigued.
My next one is A Study in Drowning by Ava Reid, which comes out in September of this year.
So
And here's a little blurb. Effie Sayre has always believed in fairy tales. She's had no choice. Since childhood, she's been haunted by the visions of the Fairy King. She found solace only in the pages of Egorad? Who knows? This tale about a mortal girl who falls in love with the Fairy King and then destroys him. And then Effie's tattered, dog-eared copy is all that's keeping her afloat in her stifling first term at this prestigious architectural college. So when Mirrodin's family announces a contest to design the late author's house, Effie feels certain that this is her destiny. And she's going to go. And there's two rival students who investigate the reclusive author's legacy and piecing together clues, I believe, about his... I think they're trying to figure out if he's a fraud or not. Something of that sort. Sounds really cool. It's going to be like old house vibes.
Yeah.
Sounds like it'll be fun. My next one is Happy Place by Emily Henry, which comes out in April of this year. Which, if she's one thing, she's an Emily Henry girly. Harriet and Wynne have been the perfect couple since they met in college. They go together like salt, pepper, honey and tea, lobster and rolls. Except now, for reasons that they're still not discussing, they broke up. So it's about this, like, these friends meet up for a yearly getaway at someone's cottage, and the couple have to pretend like they're still together. And then maybe something will happen. I don't know. People are saying it's a really good book. I have yet to not enjoy an Emily Henry book.
Same.
My next one is How to Be a Young Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi and Nick Stone. So it is the companion novel to How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi, but it's for younger children.
Oh.
And it's him and Nick Stone, and it's basically it's aimed for readers 12 and under, or 12 and up, sorry. And anti-racism is a journey, and now young adults have a map to carve their own path, is what they say. Kendi and Stone have revisited their works to provide anecdotes and data that speaks directly to the experiences and concerns of younger readers, encouraging them to think critically and build a more equitable world in doing so. I think it's going to be a cool resource. I've watched many an Ibram X. Kendi TED Talk and keynote speaker. I think the work that he's doing in activism, in academia, is really, really interesting and really cool. The whole idea of being anti-racist is something that I want to put into my teaching practice. But I'm excited to read that when it comes out. And then my last one is The Stolen Heir by Holly Black, which actually already came out. And it's about Oak, who's the young boy with hooves from the first book. Yes, he has hooves, just like Carden has a tail. It's Holly Black world where things are a little different than what you were expecting. So 8 years have passed since the Battle of the Serpent, which is the big battle that happens in the last book. And Surin, the child queen of the Court of Teeth, and the only person with power over her mother, fled to the human world, and she lives feral in the woods, which honestly speaks to me. She bides her time by releasing mortals from their foolish bargain. She believes herself to be forgotten until the storm hag, Bogdana, chases her through the night streets. Surin is saved by none other than Prince Oak, who is Jude's younger brother.
Okay. Quotations around
I think they are brother and sister. I don't remember. I can't remember. There's something about them not being biologically related, I believe. I think it literally is in the first chapter of the first book, but I cannot remember. And so Oak, who's the heir to Elfham, which, if you've not read the book, he gets, oh, it's kind of a spoiler. He gets sent away because he's like a little baby, and they're like, you cannot lead a little baby boy. So they send him to the immortal realm. And so he comes back because he's been promised to marry this Serin girl. So we'll see. I'm excited. If anything, they're a fun little romp. They're a little dark. There's always political intrigue in Holly Black's books. Like, the political structure of her books are really interesting.
Yeah.
And there's always a plot twist and a backstabbing moment, which, like, the backstabbing moment in The Wicked King, the second book, I was like, so I'm excited for.
I love that I'm agreeing with you as if I've read any of the books. I have not.
You're just nodding. He's like, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Danielle's totally right.
I'm surprised you haven't read them yet. I feel like you would enjoy them. I feel like
there's
a lot of people in your life that really like these books.
You are like the third person in the last month to tell me I should read it.
Yeah. And I probably could guess who those people are.
Well, one of them was my coworker. So.
One of them was Kevin.
I
knew it.
Correct.
I think you would like them. I genuinely think you would. Or you would hate them. So
it really is gonna go either way.
Deirdre's very, very not often lukewarm about things. Oh man. Okay, this is a new section we've decided to add to our like beginning year podcast. Manifestations for the year. What do you want to manifest in 2023?
So I've been doing this thing, which I'm calling upgrading my life, because I've decided that I'm 28 years old, I have a full-time job, and there are just some things that I would like to upgrade. So, for instance, I've added a bunch of lighting around my room, and I'm going to keep doing that and adding more. I'm wearing like exclusively matching pajama sets, and I'm getting like good workout sets, like matching workout sets to go to do workout classes. I bought one loungewear set to wear during the daytime, and I would like to get one or two more so that when I sit down at my desk to do work for the day, I'm not sitting in my work clothes that I'm going to go to work in later, and I'm not in my pajamas. I have like my uniform for work from home.
Ooh.
And just like little tiny upgrades like that just make me feel more elevated.
Yeah.
Are we going back and forth? Do you want me to keep going?
Sure, let's go back and forth. My first one is find love, whatever that means. I don't know, and it could be platonic love, it could be anything. I just feel like I need to put it out there.
Yeah.
It's just like I feel like Deirdre and I have both like had this realization of like we're old. Maybe this is me putting that on Deirdre. We're both like this, and Deirdre's like, no, I don't feel like that.
I do feel that way.
I get so much love and so much affection from students that I come in contact with in like any aspect of like teaching musical theater, teaching in the classroom, that I just, when it goes away, when they leave me, it hurts. So I would like to find more consistent, so I'm not always sad about my little babies. Yeah, we'll see what that means. Yeah. But we're manifesting it. I went on Hinge last night and was like, so off to a very rocky start. It do be like that.
It do be like that. I know I haven't even broached the dating apps this year.
Let me tell you something. Not any better than 2022, so you're not missing much.
I don't even think I went on a single date in 2022.
I didn't. I was gonna like, we're gonna go on a date, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna put that pressure on me.
I'm not gonna put that pressure on myself.
I also like, could I just get married and just skip dating?
That's how I feel. I'm
That's
like,
very much
I
how
want
I
to
feel.
skip the hard part.
I just want to find someone I'm 100% compatible with and get married. I don't want to do any of the small talk stuff. Ugh.
Nope.
That's my first manifestation.
It's a good one. That's a good
Thanks.
one. My next one is that I want to show up on socials. TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. I want to be consistent. I want to be showing up on all of them.
Ooh.
And really grow my socials, which then goes into another one that I have, which I'll combine with this one, which is that I want to move my content out of a hobby space and into something I take a little bit more seriously.
Cool. Kind of fun.
Yeah.
Graduation 2023. So
Woo!
if you know me, I'm supposed to graduate in 2024. But if I do summer courses, I have 4 electives I need to do to graduate after I do my PS3 in the fall. I can do those over the summer. I will graduate in December of 2023, which, as we know from the beginning of this podcast, 23 is one of my numbers. So that would be pretty nice for me.
That's also so exciting.
That means 2 bachelor degrees in 4.5 years, which is kind of funky. With a 3.96 GPA, so she is.
Oh yeah.
I would just really like to not be in school anymore. I would really like to have a job that is for adults.
Imagine both of us graduate this year.
I would. I want it. It's just if it doesn't happen, it's fine. I'll graduate in 2024, but I really want to happen in 2023. It would be a dream. That would be crazy if we both graduated. Then we'd have to meet in person, I think.
Yeah, obviously.
I think we'd have
That's
to
the gift to both of ourselves.
We both go to Disney World.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll see you there.
See you there. See you. I'm there now. Bye. I also said I want to get another cat, which is something like, do I actually think I need another cat? No. But I saw a stray cat the other day, and I tried to rescue it, and it scratched me. That's why I've got these scratches all over my arms.
Oh,
but it was
my
this
God.
little baby black cat, and he was lonely, and I was trying to comfort him to pick him up, and then he was like, and then ran away, so I could not help him. I don't know if I should go to the doctor. Am I gonna get rabies? I mean, he just scratched me. It's probably fine. If you don't hear from me in a couple days, you know what happened. The cat got me in.
Oh no.
I mean, this happened like a couple days ago, and I'm pretty fine.
Okay.
Dude looks really nervous. I'm like, it's just claws. He didn't bite me. If anything, it'll be some cool scars.
They don't look infected.
No. I get. What?
Hi.
What are you doing? Almond.
Cannot hear me because you're wearing headphones.
Almond. He's just rubbing his face on my books. I just would like to get a little orange cat. Name him Hobbs, like Calvin and Hobbs.
That's so cute.
Yeah. I was gonna name my cats Calvin and Hobbs, but then they were almond and walnut, and neither of them were orange.
Yeah. Kind of defeats the purpose. Oh my God.
It's okay. He's okay. It's fine. I'm trying to catch up to yours. Oh yeah. Continue to take the stairs after my elevator gets fixed. So you guys missed the saga. Last year in October, the elevator in my building went down for repair. I don't know what is it called? Went out of service. I live on the 7th floor. So I've been taking 7 flights of stairs, minimum of 2 times a day for the past 4 months ish. I don't know what time is. So I got an email that said February 6th. It's gonna be working again, so we'll see. But I would like to continue to take stairs once in a while, because you know what? It's good for me.
Yeah.
She says very reluctantly, but yeah, it's fine. It's good for me. I would like to see our book Instagram reach 1,000 followers, and that's where you come in, listeners. And hope if you're
Me
not following us on Instagram,
too.
please follow us. We are like 900 and something. We are very close.
Let me pull it up. We're really close.
And like, I would like to state for the record that we are still getting followers during our hiatus, which tells me that there's supply and demand for our podcast.
We're at 908 followers.
Hey, that's
We're
more
so
than last time I checked.
close.
We can do it.
I think we can.
Everyone goes and unfollows us. Like 200 followers. Okay, you do your last one.
Yeah.
So I'll do my last one.
I would like to seek out more event opportunities this year. Ooh. I had so much fun going to Y'all West last year. We've done Book Talk event 2 years in a row. And I just, whether they're in person or virtual, it's a little difficult scheduling stuff around working the show right now. But I'm kind of just hoping that more things pop up. It is hard because I would like to see more things happen on the East Coast. Bless you.
Thank you.
And there are book events here, but there also aren't a ton. So I'm just putting it out there that I would like to seek out more event opportunities, either to go as just a person that's going to enjoy the event, or to be involved in some sort of panel capacity.
Fun.
Yeah.
My last goal is to go to the movies as many times as I want. I really like going to the movies. And I really want to go see Megan.
Oh.
Are you not excited to see Megan?
I don't know. Should I be?
Do you not know about Megan?
I know about Megan. I've watched the commercials.
It hasn't been flooding your For You page like it's been flooding mine.
Maybe for like the day it came out. We're not on the same For You page.
We're not on the same. Sometimes I send Deirdre things that she saw 2 days ago, like the husband calling competition.
That was so, oh my god,
those
videos, the one you sent me today, I laughed out loud. It was very funny.
There was one, I don't know if I sent it to you, but literally I've not laughed so hard in my life. It was not a husband, it was this little girl, and she's like, "Dad, put your hands together." Okay, flip them down, lift your leg and look at it. And she goes, "Ooh," and it just storms out. I was like,
you said that to me today, and Alexa had sent it to me a couple days ago.
I was like sobbing in my bed. Like, oh my god. Anyway, I just want to go to the movies. So all my manifestations are things I want to do. I just want to do this.
Yeah.
Which I guess are what manifestations are, but I really want to go see Megan.
Nice.
Okay. Last thing on the docket.
Woohoo!
Second last thing on the docket. We got 2 things left.
We've got 2 things left. So the very shockingly popular thing that was happening at the end of the year and into the first week of this year was 2023 bingo cards. And because we never want to be left out and it's never too late to make a bingo card, we are making a Books on the Brain version of a 2023 bingo card. So we've each picked 5 things. I think we should do this a little bit rapid fire.
Yes, please.
And
we'll post it, so if you miss it, you can see it.
So we can go back and forth. Okay.
Great.
I think there is either going to be a shift in content creation platforms, or something is going to like shake things up a little bit in the content creation platform sphere.
I said there's going to be a book talk pick that we've never seen on book talk on a book talk table in a bookstore. And people are going to get upset about it.
Yep. I think we could see a defamation lawsuit actually happen this year.
I'm hoping. I don't know to who, but I hope. I said book Twitter finally agrees with book talk on something.
Okay.
Positive.
I said a book event is going to cause drama.
Ooh.
And
I mean,
and not,
check.
I know, like, I wrote that and I was like, oh, everyone's gonna be like, that already happened with Barnes & Noble, but I mean, like, at the actual event. Something's gonna happen.
Fair. I said a bad take from a white reviewer on Arf Kwong's new book. We'll make it a theme.
Yeah. I said celebrities on Book Talk.
Ugh. Okay. I said another man claiming to own Book Talk.
That can be the free space.
The free space.
And then my last one is in quotes, more spice in YA.
No. My last one is an indie author blows up on Book Talk and makes some money.
Love that.
And we might come up with more. Who knows? But
Yeah.
we'll post it to our Instagram so you can play along with us.
Yeah. And you can check it out.
It'll be fun alert. Okay. Current reads.
Okay. I have been reading like a fiend this month. I just finished my 7th or 8th book yesterday. So it's really difficult for me to narrow it down. Okay, but today I am going to talk about Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin, because this is one of the best books I have ever read. This book. In this book, we meet Sam and Sadie. They become friends as children because Sadie's younger sister is being treated for cancer in a children's hospital. And she ends up in the game room and meets Sam, who is being treated because his foot was injured in a car accident. And he's been going through several surgeries and rehabilitation for his foot. And Sadie is the first person in, I can't remember if it's, I think it's 6 months or 6 weeks. One of the two. Sam has not spoken to a single person since the car accident, and Sadie is the first person he speaks to. So the hospital staff are kind of like, hey, to the mom and Sadie, would you mind like coming back and socializing with him? And so it begins their friendship, but then something happens that ends their friendship. And then we cut to, it is a little out of order, so the way the book starts is not where this starts, but we cut to many, many years later when they are both in college in Massachusetts. They grew up in California, and they run into each other on a subway platform. And drama. And it's this whole reconnection of people that felt like two souls connecting, and then had like, just separation. And through this reuniting, because they had bonded over games, they embark on becoming video game designers together. And so we then see what happens after they reconnect, what is going on in their separate lives, what happened in the time between when they weren't speaking to each other, the relationships that sort of change when you are in a work situation with people you care very deeply about, and life, just like life in the 90s to the mid 2000s. It is life-changing. Big trigger warning for grief and what's the word? Oh my god, abortion, gun violence. Yeah, those are probably the 3. Suicide as well. Those are the 3 I would say are pretty important to know about going in. I was just like weeping in my bed last night when I finished it. Like, it was really, really wonderful.
We were both weeping on our beds for very different reasons. When Deirdre's is a very sad book.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, it's on my list. I have a physical copy on my bookshelf, so I might do a wrap around and read it in a couple months. We'll see. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm in the middle of a few books. I famously started The Priory of the Orange Tree and didn't finish it in a day. Which has definitely slowed down my progress on it, but it is what it is. So I'm about 150-ish pages into that, and it's great. It's very good. I'm reading that book that Deirdre told me to read, Daughter of No Worlds. Of Some Worlds? Of One World. What's the book called? Of Zero Worlds.
Daughter of No Worlds.
A daughter of does not exist worlds. It's on Kindle Unlimited, if you are interested. I'm very confused by it, but I'm sticking with it. That is how I currently feel about it. And then I'm currently listening to the audiobook of Spare, the Prince Harry book. And I know, but I would like to say for the record, I used an audiobook credit that I had, so I did not pay for the book. I received audiobook credits from Libra FM, so I used one of my free credits for that.
Nice.
It's complex how I feel about the book. There's things I never wanted to know about this man that I now know. Very intimate things. His ability to storytell is actually very good. I was surprised about how well he's able to express himself. Yeah. I don't know why I'm surprised. But yeah, there's definitely like some weird, like, if you're going to read it, I would say go into it with a critical lens and really question the things that are being said to you and think about, like, okay, this is from his perspective. How am I commiserating with him? How am I supporting him? That maybe I should think about, is that actually what I believe? You know what I mean? Because it definitely, there's points where you're like, I feel so sorry for him, but then you're also like, he is so privileged. So like he's gone through a lot of awful things in his lifetime, absolutely. And that's not to negate those things that have gone through, but it's also like, you know, what's the intersectionality of this? You have grown up in this incredibly, like, he talks about how he went to this like boarding school for like young men, and he talks about constantly how it was so awful, but I'm like, dude, it was one of the best schools ever. Like, it was like a lot of those things where it's like, okay, but like people would kill for this. So it's interesting. It is interesting. There's also like quite a few trips they go to Africa, which I was like, oh no. So definitely don't be swept away in the romantics of this book is what I'll say.
Right. Okay. We did it. Oh, our first episode of the season.
We did do it.
We hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to share with us your favorite books of 2022, your worst books of 2022, your goals, your manifestations, whatever we touched on in this episode. If you want to date
one of us, shout out to us. We're single.
Sorry. Whatever you want to share with us, we would love to hear from you. And now we have a whole new platform that we're on. So many exciting things happening. So let's see how we can do this outro. Thank you so much for listening. Please make sure you like and subscribe if you're on YouTube, and rate and review.
Smash the like button.
Smash it so hard. You can also turn on notifications on YouTube. It does still help us if you rate and review on podcast platforms. We are on all podcast platforms still, if you are listening to us auditorially. I don't know. You can also follow us on our Instagram. Like we said, we're trying to get to 1,000 followers, and it is at Books on the Brain Pod. You can also follow us on our personal socials. I am at Deirdre Rose Morgan on Instagram and TikTok.
I'm at DJ Books on TikTok and on Instagram.
Oh, I'm also Deirdre Rose Morgan on YouTube, because I said I was adding more socials. So yes, you can subscribe to my own YouTube channel if you want as well.
I'm at DJ Books on Pinterest. If you want to see my old prom dress board, feel free.
that is it from us for this episode. We will chat to you in the next one. Bye.